Saturday, August 8th, 2020. A couple of days ago, I think it's like 2 days. Fuck, man. Time is a construct, man. I don't know what the fuck. Time means nothing still. But I got to see William Bradford Holland and Joel Powers. We got lunch, which was not, it's a bittersweet feeling of like, I'm around other people that I kind of know, you know, in real life is in a Zoom screen. I'm not sending a voice memo to somebody. On the other hand, I'm like, God damn, but I'm like around people and there's people out and shit. So it's definitely not something I feel comfortable doing often, but it was really good. It was really nice. Where to even start? I guess I'll start with, why I like talking to them. Because I definitely know that William Bradford Holland is not everyone's cup of tea. He's not everybody's best friend. He's not the Mr. Rogers of the IE community comedy scene or whatever the fuck. Understandably so. Even like for me, I can only stomach, you know, short spurts with Holland. Is that goddamn raptor screech voice that he's got, and I'll tag him. If you want to listen, Holland, you're welcome to. But goddamn, dude. It could be graining to be around him for long periods of time, but I like talking to him because we seem to both have the same thing. My theory is that we both have the same thing that's wrong with us. I did that Last Dance episode, and it's starting to click like, oh, okay, these are the type of people that have something wrong with them, and I think that it's just like an internal thing that you just have no control over. And your environment molds and shapes and dictates a good deal of where that energy goes towards. And so I think I've always kind of understood him on the level of like, oh, you have that thing that's wrong with you. I can see it. Like you have, I don't know, whatever fucking deficiency you write with your left hand. I don't know, whatever the fuck is wrong with you. He has that thing. And when I talk with him, I have no intention, and we most of our talks are just us fucking arguing about stuff. If anybody's ever hung out with us post-show in the parking lot wasting our time. But my intention is never to change his mind. Like, I know that he's set in his position, and I'm pretty much set in my position. But I like arguing with him because I'm arguing with a brick wall. And I'm just seeing what tools or what angles to take to see if I can break down this immovable wall, which I know is immovable. But what it does is it forces me to look at what my own beliefs are from different vantage points. And I was, I was able to do that. I learned, it was funny, I learned something about myself through arguing with him. And that the argument was about comics in the scene being like overly sensitive or not understanding comedy culture of giving shit and telling jokes or whatever, like, you know, put downs and comebacks and all that stuff. And his philosophy of it, and Holland, if you listen to this, you're welcome to, I don't know, record a response if I'm misquoting you or if I'm describing your perspective on it incorrectly. But from what I understand of it, he doesn't understand why somebody would come into the comedy world, open mics or whatever, and not understand that people are gonna give you shit, and that's part of it. People are gonna come at you, they're gonna tell jokes, and to not take it personally. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud. I'll keep this short. I walked past the lady that always gives me mean looks. She has her Blue Lives Matter flag there. And she heard me talking and said something. She was confused. And I was very nice. I said, just talking with friends. And I hope you have a good day. Enjoy gardening. And I was being the bigger person. Look at that inner Martin Luther King coming out of me. I'm so proud of myself. I'm so zen. Y'all don't even know. I'm so fucking woke. I'm so peaceful. Y'all bitch niggas don't know how fucking peaceful I am. Nigga, come at me, nigga, if you don't know how fucking peaceful I am, cuz. All right. So Holland, yeah. From what I understand, his perspective, he's like, I don't understand why you would get into comedy or go to these open mics and not realize that people are going to give you shit. People are going to they're going to come at you. It's an aggressive, cutthroat business and art form and industry and community. And that's just part of it. And you just have to, man the fuck up and deal with it or get the fuck out. And so that's his thing on it. So again, Holland, if you listen to this and you want to make a response to it, I'll post it. But I think in short, that's where he's coming from. It's essentially, why would you get into this? Why would you get into this and not have thick skin? And my philosophy of it is, and we seem to be, it's funny, man, when we get into these arguments, I always find myself feeling like, no, we're agreeing. It feels like we're agreeing, but it's in different ways. The difference for me is that I do understand why somebody would get butthurt, why somebody would have their feelings hurt, get offended, or not go into this community not understanding how it works. I understand that because I did that. And the whole reason I started the buddy system, because I went to other comedy communities not understanding how to tell jokes, not understanding how to, not having the tools to fight back if a comic comes at, Aaliyah, come on. Not having the tools to fight back if a comic comes at me. And that it is weird, man. Like it's a weird feeling when someone it feels like you have to stand there with your hands tied behind your back while someone punches the shit out of you. And all you're trying to dodge and move, but you don't even know, you can't even do that. You're not fucking Roy Jones Jr. You're not Muhammad Ali. You're not doing the rope-a-dope, dodging insults. Like, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And you're just taking punches to the face. And that's what it feels like if you don't understand what this is, if you don't understand what you're getting into. And he came from a background of always giving shit, telling jokes, giving shit, going back and forth. That's his background. And I didn't come from that type of background. Like, I was in theater and film and improv and shit, which is an incredibly collaborative art form. Like, you work together for a common goal and everyone's on the same page. And anybody who's behaving like a comic, essentially, in an environment like that, is getting in the way of the common goal and would be kicked out. So going into the stand-up comedy world, that was the mentality I was going into. So I just didn't understand. And then, I took my fucking lumps and I will continue to take my lumps and I'm just going to keep pushing through and I'm not going to stop. It's learning experience. It's figuring out like, all right, well, that dude hit me in the fucking eye that time. How do I counter that? What do I need to do? What tools, what techniques do I need to add to my arsenal so that doesn't happen again? And then once I'm able to dodge getting hit in the eye, now it's like, all right, well, now let me figure out how to counter and come back and hit him in the eye. That's how I personally take it. And I understand why somebody couldn't handle that, why somebody would get upset, why somebody would get their feelings hurt, why somebody would give up. I understand that. And then the part where him and I completely agree is if you can't hack it, if you don't like it, if you don't want to be involved in it, you can get the fuck out. You can leave. Nobody's keeping you here. Nobody's holding you. Nobody's forcing you to go to the open mic. Nobody's handcuffing you to them, dragging your ass to the open mic. That's not what's going to happen. Like, it's up to you. And so that's where him and I are in agreement, is that at the end of the day, like, if you can't hack it, if you can't be involved in this shit, get the fuck out. And if anything, it's smart. It's smart to get the fuck out. It's not healthy for you to be involved in an environment that's not healthy for you. And so we're going back and forth about that a lot. And then Joel Powers was there as well. And I'm starting to realize, like, so having this time of isolation has been good to figure out, who I am, what I want, what works for me, and is completely disconnected from other people. That's been really healthy. And something happened with Joel Powers as well that was good. But before I get to that point, so we're going back and forth about that, and we were saying something else. It was about, like, depression or anxiety or fear. God damn. Yo, shit. That's a cop dog. That was like that was a German Shepherd. That motherfucker should have worn those cop sunglasses. Not the aviators. Those are the classic 70s I'm talking about the modern, douchey, military, slim black sunglasses. This shit, it looks like the cop version of Cyclops from X-Men, that type of sunglasses. That's the type of dog I just walked past. Anyway, so he was talking about how, okay, so for example, if let's say you say in your head, like you feel like, oh, I'm not going to become successful, I'm not a comic, I suck, I'm not funny, whatever it is, whatever self-doubt creeps into your brain. He said in his philosophy, the way he works is he just says, well, no, I'm going to be successful, end of story. And then this switch goes off and he's good. Like as soon as he does that, mentally something happens where he's good and he can keep moving forward. So his thing is like everybody can do that. Anybody can, like anybody and everybody can just say to themselves, I'm going to be successful. I'm not going to be sad. I'm not going to be depressed. I'm not going to be angry, whatever, and decide to change that thought process, change that thinking. That's his philosophy on it. My thing is, I do think anybody can do that. I think it's possible, but it is a much longer, far more arduous, complicated, and difficult process based off of people's upbringing and personal life experiences. I think that, from what I understand, I don't know his life story or anything, but from what I understand of it, he grew up in a position where I think a mixture of whatever's wrong with him, his just natural personality and the environment and the things that were around him has put him in a position to where mentally and emotionally he has the capability to do that. And I find it very impressive, and I think that's great, Good for him for being able to do that. For me, and I think for actually most people, I don't think it's that simple. Or at least, not that it's not that simple, but that it is a longer process. Like I told him, for me, it would be like if that thought crept into my mind, it wouldn't be an instant like, all right, it's gone now. If it crept in and it really dug its nails into my brain, it would take me a good 24 or 48 hours to sit in it and think to myself, all right, well, this is how I feel right now. Let's suss that out, maybe why, whatever. And then 48 hours later, I'd probably feel better. And for him, that's like, well, you're wasting time. For me, it's like, no, this is my process. So we just look at it in different ways. And one of the things that kept getting brought up was guidance. Like I kept talking about guidance and being like, look, man, I don't know his upbringing, but in my life, I didn't have guidance, and one of the things I kept harping on was a male figure, like a father figure or an adult figure, a male figure to guide you along, to give you advice, to a Mufasa. Like you need a Mufasa, you need what's his name, Will Smith from Pursuit of Happiness. You need that, or at least for me, I needed that. And I didn't realize I needed that until I had to argue with him about it and try to describe to him, here's why it's important to have, just as a dude, for me personally, a male figure, but just any adult that is reasonable, that will guide you in the right direction when you're younger. And I didn't, as I was saying it, I actually realized something in trying to argue with him. I realized that in quarantine, it was I had time to kind of shed all my bullshit that I had to deal with. Not all of it. It doesn't stop. It never stops. It's just an onion, an endless peeling onion. But ogres are onions, or parfait. What are they? They're making waffles. References to kids' movies of the past. But I realized okay, so during quarantine, what I did, I guess, was took some time to where the pressure of everybody else around me was off, and it was starting at zero. It felt like It felt like my environment, situations I had been put in, and the people that were around me since a kid, had pushed me down to negative 100, right? And over time, like I'm fighting to get up past the negatives, and then fucking quarantine happened, and I was able to take all of that pressure off. I didn't have to deal with anybody. Nobody was bothering me. And so then it was like after that happened, after that pressure got lifted, I was at neutral. And then from at neutral, I started re-listening to Bill Burr and Joe Rogan and all that. I listened to hours. I listened to Bill Burr advice compilation. And I did that. I did that all throughout quarantine. I just listened to Bill Burr give fatherly advice, essentially. And I listened to Joe Rogan give, whether they realize that's what they're doing or not, give fatherly advice. I was listening to men that I looked up to, that I wanted to be like, that I wanted to emulate, that I felt were real men, the type of man I want to be personally. And having that pressure lifted off, having that being at zero and neutral or whatever, and then taking that information in was able to build me up towards the type of man that I want to eventually become. And so I basically made my own surrogate father figures through these comedians on YouTube, just listening to them talk and give advice. And so I just learned that about myself, which has affected another part of my life that affects other people that I'm not going to get into because I don't want to drag other people in my bullshit. But it was just it was a good realization to have. And having to being in a position where I had to argue it with a brick wall with a stubborn motherfucker, where I just know he's not going to change his mind, but I still need to try to figure out how to word this to him so at least he gets it. It helped me understand that a little better. So that was good. And then the other thing that happened was I was talking to Joel Powers about, I know I was harping on Holland this whole time. Joel, I miss Joel too. I miss his energy. He's fun. Exhausting as well. Both of those guys, especially when together. God damn, when they're together, it is just manic, throwing out random awful shit. There's a good point where we were talking about pedophilia and Ellen for like half an hour. And by we talking about it, I mean that Holland went on a whole soliloquy. He got a whole PowerPoint presentation. He got a little laser pointer. He was like, all right, here's the island that Ellen bought. And then she sold 24 islands to this. Then those islands spelled out sex. When you look at it from Google Maps, it's like he really dug deep on Ellen, man. God damn. Anyway, so I was talking to Joel. And I was telling Joel about the Danny Frank stuff, and that, apparently there's a lot of people that just don't like me. And, he's listening. He was like, well, why don't you lean into that? Lean into them hating you and all of that. And I thought about it, and my response to that was, I something to the effect of like, I'm not trying to lean into anything. I'm just trying to be me. Like, I'm just doing me. And I actually did, I meant that very genuine. Like, I'm just doing me. I'm not trying to lean into anything. I'm not trying to antagonize people. I'm literally just being me. Now, granted, if being me is antagonizing or upsetting to people, I understand. I understand how I could be upsetting. I have to live in this fucking body. I have to live in this consciousness. I have to have this brain every day, forever, until I die. So I know. You don't like me, I'm well aware. I understand. I don't like me either. But saying that out loud, like being so isolated, it's like, it's good. It's really healthy for me to be isolated and be to myself for a while, learn about myself, all that cute shit. But Aaliyah, god damn it, it's good. It's healthy, but it's also like human beings need to be around other human beings. That's just part of being a human being. And talking to somebody in person and just having a conversation, goddamn, like changing so much and thinking about things so much, and just being in a completely different world, and then having a conversation with somebody that you spoke to when the world was a completely was a totally different place. I don't know, it shows you more about yourself. Like this, okay, so the thing with Holland and realizing like, oh, okay, so I basically found father figures. I created surrogate father figures. And then talking with Joel and my response being like, I'm just doing me, really solidifies that I think I'm going in the right direction. And I like that direction. Like, I understand what he's saying about leaning into it, and maybe I am leaning into it in the sense that I'm not letting people's feelings about me is not going to dictate what the decisions I make, or is not going to stop me from from pushing forward. And I don't know, I was surprisingly happy with my response. I feel like maybe pre-COVID, I would have had some sort of explanation, or I don't know what I would have said, but I think in the place that I am now, I like that my natural gut response was, I'm just doing me. That's it. It's not like I'm not trying to antagonize people, not trying to upset people. If people are upset, they can be upset. I'm just doing me. So, yeah, I would say good talk. It was really nice to just fucking talk to comics, man. It was nice to be around people it sucks because like then there's this other piece of me that's like, I can't do that all the time. That's really not good. That's not fair to society. I don't know what's going on in the world. Oh, Aaliyah, you're getting it. Fuck. She doesn't give a fuck. Her fur is like Teflon. She just jumped into a rose bush. Like one of the thorn rose bushes. Not a scratch on her. She doesn't give a fuck. Look at you, Aaliyah. Look at you, tough-ass wolf beast. All right, come on. So, yeah. Nah, man, I just miss... I miss open mics. I love and appreciate the street stand-up, and I'm glad that I've created that outlet for myself. It seems to be doing good things. It's helpful. It's getting me more followers. It's helping me earn some money. It's allowing me to get better at this art form. But goddamn, this is a community, and having that talk and just being able to be around people does make me miss open mics. It makes me miss hanging out with comics and just shooting the shit, man. Yeah. So, I guess, where do I end this? Holland, if I presented your perspective wrong, please elaborate on it. You're welcome to message. I doubt you will. And Joel, it's good to see you. Hopefully we, talk again soon. If you know one person you think would enjoy this, just let me know. Or not let me know. Fucking share it. Yeah, if you know one person that enjoys it, message me. Tell me that they would enjoy it. And then give me their information. Give me their address. I'll drive over to their house. I'll burn a couple episodes on a floppy disk, and I'll put a little bow on it, and I'll say, hey, from the 90s, from a simpler time. Let's take it back. Let's take this technology down a step. If you know one person you think would like this, please share it with them. And till next time.